Hi everybody. Today I am making something delicious and something that goes back to when we were kids, at least my childhood. Thumbprint cookies. And when I was a kid, we used to grind up or crush up cornflakes, and that's what we used to make the cookie crispy on the outside. Well, I am making them with raspberry jam, and then I am using crushed almonds. Crushed almonds on the outside of that cookie. So you're going to get a buttery, almondy, delicious bite. So I think let's get started. All right, in my bowl here, I have a stick of very soft butter, and to that I'm going to add some confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar. And this may seem a little fussy, but I like to do this with my powdered sugar because sometimes as it sits there in the bag, it gets lumps. And of course this is going to be blended up, but it's just kind of nice to, have it sifted just to get some of those lumps out of there. And actually, see there, that looks pretty good, but I'm going to finish doing that real fast. Got it on my mixer, and I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to give it a good, couple minutes, really, to make sure that it is good and creamy. And once I have that done, we will come back. As you can see, this is such an easy recipe, and it takes really so few ingredients. So I'm going to now put in some flour. And one of my viewers had asked about whether I measure my flour by the cup or I weigh it. And I went online, and King Arthur has a wonderful conversion schedule. So if you say I have a cup and a half of flour, what does it weigh? And it's really wonderful. Now this was a cup and a quarter of flour, and I measured it by the cup, and then I went online and saw the conversion, and it said it should weigh 150 grams, and you know what, it weighed 152, so I was right on with that. All right, we're going to put this on, we're going to get this all blended up, and we will be back. All right, that is blended. The powdered sugar takes a little longer in there, and there's not a lot of butter, so it takes a little bit of finesse, a little bit of work to get that done. And it might be a little too much for, doing it by hand. I think a mixer probably is the way to go for you. So I'm going to get this off the mixer, and we will be back. And I'm going to bring this in so you can see it. It's nicely mixed, as you can see. It's a nice dough. And I am going to bring in my cookie sheet here. I'm going to bring it out a little bit. There we go, because you really couldn't see what's going on. I have my oven set at 350 degrees, and I wanted to show you these slick parchment paper cookie sheet liners. They're wonderful, and I use them. I have Silpat, but I do use these occasionally, and I do like them because they're convenient, and you don't have to clean up a Silpat sheet afterwards. These are what I use, these Reynolds, and they're wonderful, and actually they're quite a very reasonable price. And I will leave you a link to this product in my Amazon store if you're interested in trying it. So the first item I'm going to make is the raspberry cookie, and it's raspberry and almond, which I thought was a nice combination. And I'm just taking a nice, this is about 1.25 inches, and it gives you about a 2-inch cookie. And I'm going to go ahead and roll this into a nice ball, and then I'm going to, let me move this out of the way here a little bit. Here are my chopped almonds. I put them in my food processor. Most of it's pretty well chopped. There's some little pieces in there. And I'm going to, first of all, roll it in egg white. This is just an egg white that I've mixed up. And that's going to be kind of the glue that's going to help put those nuts on that ball there. And I'm going to do one more for you, and then I will fill in the cookie sheet, and we'll get them in the oven. So I'm just doing a nice little ball there. I'm going to roll it in the egg white, and then into the chopped almonds. and put that on my sheet. And I'm going to do a dozen, you know, four this way and 3 this way. Once I have this cookie sheet filled in, I'll bring it back. All right, there's my cookie sheet. I've got a dozen on here. They're rolled in chopped almonds, and they're about ready to go into the oven. Okay, I have my oven set at 350 degrees. I've got my rack in the oven right in the center. And these are going to go in the oven for about 7 to 9 minutes. They'll just start to change color, and I will show those to you. And when they come out, that's when I'm going to make that little thumbprint in the cookie that will hold that raspberry jam. And boy, these are a good cookie. So we'll be back when it's time to take them out of the oven, and I'll show you the next step. These have been baking for about 9 minutes, and I took them out of the oven. And now if they're too hot for you, you can use a spoon, but you just want to get in there, just give it a nice little indent, and go through them and make a little indent in there on all. It's not too hot. You shouldn't have any problem. And a little of that, and actually when you get this cookie out of the oven for the second time before you put the jam in there, if it's still not a big enough little indentation, you can you can make it a little larger. And I'm just going to go through here now and just kind of make sure we don't have any big cracks in these cookies, but they all look fairly good. A little crack here and there. Yeah, I think that looks good. I'm going to give this one a little bit of more of a dent. All right, and I'm going to put these back in the oven now for about 4 minutes, because when they come out, I want to put a little bit of the jam in there and put them back in the oven for, maybe 3 minutes, so that jam has a chance to firm up just a little bit. So when I'm ready to put the jam in there, we'll be back. These have come out of the oven after about 3 minutes more, and they are ready to put some jam in here. I'm just going to maybe move a little bit there. This is just some nice raspberry jam, and I stirred it up a little bit so it's a little softer to work with. And now I'm just going to put a little dollop of that jam inside that little indentation. And when these go back in the oven, that jam is going to melt a little bit, but it's also going to, once they get cool, it'll firm up and it'll be less real jammy. It'll be more of almost a gel inside the little hole there. Put a little bit more in that one. Once I am done doing this, I'll put these back in the oven for about 3 minutes maybe, as I said, just to get that jam to settle into those little holes. And then we will be back, and we're going to take a taste. So we'll be back.
It's time to eat, and look who's here.
When we were kids, and I mentioned this earlier, that when we made thumbprint cookies, we ground up cornflakes, and that's what you coated the outside of the cookie with. And that these are a little more weird?
Weird.
Oh, and they were crispy. Anyway, these are a little bit more grown up here. So there's one for you and one for me. And you see, I put the back in. What's wrong?
Nothing. I was just looking. That's
raspberry jam.
Raspberry jam. I just threw it on the floor.
That's okay. I don't care. Delicious. You want it cooked a little more.
But it's phenomenal.
There's no egg in there.
Nice almond flavor and the jam.
It is delicious.
I can probably only eat a couple hundred of these.
Oh no, they're really good. You like that? Yeah. Now see, to me, it's cooked just right. To me, it's baked just right. It's still a little...
It looks a little doughy.
But I don't think it tastes that. You'd like it?
I love it.
If you like it, then just say, I like it.
I love it.
All right, I will leave the instructions and the ingredients down below for these delicious raspberry thumbprint cookies.
That is a terrific cookie.
And really, it's so easy to put together, and the ingredients are so, not a lot of ingredients. He's digging it. And you can use any jam, of course. You know, you could use, well, any jam. Strawberry, apricot, peach, Loganberry. What's the one that we love so much?
Marionberry?
The orange one. Marmalade. Huckleberry. So, you know, you really could get out
We ate
there.
a lot of huckleberries in Montana.
We did indeed. Oh, those are so good.
Huckleberry milkshake.
Baby, that's the best. All right, everybody. Thanks
One
a
of
lot.
these days, one of these days, I'll get her to make Mary Fowley's butter cookies and tell you some great stories about them.
All right.
Or
Okay.
Wendy's oatmeal chocolate chip cookies and tell you some great stories.
Okay. I can do that too.
But right now, I'm going back for another cookie.
Check out my Amazon store. I've been just slamming it with some great stuff in there. I have a link down below. Check it out. Do some shopping because it always gives me just a little something.
I love to go shopping.
All right, everybody. Take care. We will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye. What? That's
Have
good.
a good one.
Have a good one.
Stay
Bye-bye.
safe. Bye-bye.